Good morning, all. You are welcome again to CoLearning, a webinar launched by Shobhit University to quench the thirst for interaction felt by learners around the world. And for today episode, we have Dr. Major General Dr. Sunil Chandra. Major General Sunil Chandra is Pro Vice Chancellor of Shobhit Deemed University, Meerut, a result-oriented professional with 40 years of military services, former Managing Director, Army Welfare Education Society, Additional General Director, Army Educational Co-op, responsible for educational training and management of human resources development of million plus troops of Indian Army. PhD in International Relations from JNU, Henry L. Fellow at Washington, D.C., Ford Fellow at University of Illinois, USA, recipient of Vis- Visi- Vishisht Seva Medal for various services by the President of India. So we welcome Major Saab for a special session co-learning. So Major Saab, as you know, the COVID-19 is very in India. And what do you think? What is the paradigm shift in education in the ongoing COVID crisis?
Okay, Manish Chavda, firstly, thank you very much for inviting me on this forum and giving me chance to share my views with those who are watching me. And secondly, one thing which I'd like to correct you that we in the army are very sensitive to our ranks, even if after retired. So you mentioned to me as major. Please call me either Dr. Sunil or Sunil or say Major General. But coming down to our main focus, uh, COVID-19 is a downturn in all the spheres that we are facing in our life, whether it is the well-being, whether it is educational, whether it is industry, whether it is our movement, whether it is all that. There's a lot of anxiety and conscious. People are very conscious. They are all in their houses. So therefore, in that aspect, let me tell you that there is a major paradigm shift in the field of education because today talk I will restrict to education only. And the paradigm shift means there is virtual in every aspect of life. You are now being advised to refrain from social distancing, physical distancing, anything that you do, even you are touching a newspaper, there's an advisory that you need to be very careful, things like that. So the scenario is full of anxiety around us. And the classroom situation has gone from classrooms, the education has gone to the private homes. And you know that today we are a mix match of society. People are living in a very different environment. Somewhere there is plenty, somewhere there is shortage. At some places you will find you have a single child norm also. Many houses will have one or two children. There are places where there will be 5 to 10 members staying in one room. But everybody in life has aspirations. And in my university, in Shobhit University, well, I spent then 6 months there. I realize if I see the demography of my students, I find that many of them are full of aspirations to achieve something in life, but come from very modest homes. So I wonder as to how they are really coping up. So coming back, we have moved from classroom to home, which is more of an isolation. The students are feeling deprived of their peer learning, which is very effective in the day to day of the student life. And they are deprived of interaction with their students, with their fellow students, and with their teachers as well. They have also now another thing which has come with the paradigm shift is that coping up with the technology, which is very digital. And to be very frank, even for me, this is something which is very unique that is happening to me that something very routine that we were used to so many years from day to day, I have now to keep myself abreast digitally. I have to keep abreast myself technologically. This is the one shift which is basically gone. The pedagogy which we were following, and from donkey years we were depending on famous Bloom's taxonomy, which is still the backbone of education. While if we say the Bloom's taxonomy model, the previous model given by the originator, it has now reversed. But all the same, there will be a major pedagogical shift which will take place if this continues to stay for some more time. Because earlier also there was distance education which was there, which was very effective mode. People were earning and adding on to their degrees, but that was just add on. But the proper conventional education, and now something which is being in a very proactive manner coming up, is going to take some time. Then we find there's glut of open sources which are there. Imagine, like in the classroom situation, a teacher will prepare at home, or prepare at library, or prepare at the university campus, and go to the classroom. Nobody will question as to where have you got these facts and figures. And because a lot of faculty members may be there, a lot of intellectuals are there, but in India that system is not there, that while teaching also we quote and unquote. But in online education, when we reach out to our students by our e-lectures, our e-notes, our e-materials, our PPTs, we need to know, acknowledge as to from where we have taken. In the recent past, there is a glut of open source material like MHRD has supplied, UGC, AICT, NEET, NDL, mocks are there, NPTEL is there, SWAYAM is there. You name a thing, and everybody is coming out with something. A few days back, there was Harvard University Education also launched certain free courses and things like that. Everybody is now trying to, make us wise. The problem is now what to choose, how much to choose, where to go. Initially, the recommended textbooks and reference material in the library was considered adequate. So that is one major shift which is going to be taking place. Examination pattern, I guess, is likely to be changed very shortly, because the conventional education will be substituted, or it become a mix of online and offline kind of a thing. A paper pen test will also be there, and the test from online also will be there. So this is also going to be there. Could be open book test also, which could be possibly be one of the things which could possibly come up. What is going to be the major problem is going to be the IT infrastructure of the institutions. Many institutions do not have that soft infrastructure available to them as of today. On 16th of March, it was decided that okay, lockdown will there. 17th of March, we came onto the online teaching, and hats off to the faculty and the way they took it on. But at that time, to begin with, we had only email to reach them. Gradually, after 1 week, we said, okay, why not try some reaching out to them like Zoom and Google Hangout and Google Classroom. Thereafter, we graduated to video making and we reaching out to students on video making. But measuring the outcome of that outcome based education is going to be a major problem. So there is going to be a major shift of this, and the distance learning, I think, will again bloom up. Distance learning as it was happening in the country, and the people were in large way getting benefit of it. But I am sure that with this now, that is likely to go little more. This is my take on the paradigm shift.
And so the challenges that are in front of teachers and the students. So the COVID-19 comes suddenly. So there are some challenges in front of teachers and students as well. So what is your view on this?
Yes, both are very challenged. Teacher will cease to remain only a teacher. He has to also now learn. I won't I won't hesitate to say that teacher has to become a core learner today. He has to now master over technology. He has to now depend on all these digital tools. His analysis, his record keeping activities will go very high. Earlier, it was one classroom attendance. Now, everything digitally has to be recorded and to be accounted for. The quality of the teaching, I'm sorry to say, which was by and large unmeasured earlier in the typical classroom situation, will now become measured. Whatever you are sending to the student in the form of e-lecture or notes or PPTs, you are possibly today either you have to evolve yourself, or you have, if you are picking up from some source, then I don't think it's serious teaching. Then even the student has got that kind of thing. I think the teacher's job of revising their own syllabus will become much more. Now, if you see the kind of resources that are openly available today, from there the teacher has to pick up the relevant portion, and that much portion only has to possibly be good. So, therefore, record keeping and greater accountability apart, instant response from the students that teacher used to get in the classroom will not be there now, which is a two-way process. Both get benefited because of the interactive teaching. It is not only the teacher who gets benefit, it's the student also. The teacher constantly keeps measuring the absorption level, the measuring the level of the learning taking place in the student simultaneously, which is now missing, for which the tools will emerge shortly. I am sure the technology is keeping pace, maybe little ahead than us, our thinking, but all that will be now a major issue. And faculty have to train and upgrade. And I have one small fear in my mind that the future faculty is likely to be the youngsters who are tech savvy will be better teachers than who are actually very well grounded in the teaching but who are not trained themselves to the technology.
Technology.
I myself am feeling challenged in this 45 days that I've been at home, that I have to depend upon my faculty colleagues in the university back, or my own children, or hit and trial to see as to how I have to cope up and things like that. Because earlier the support system that was available physically in the university or in the colleges wherever the teachers were is not there at home. So this is the challenge to the teachers, I perceive. Students have a different kind of challenge. Students will now study in isolation. You will agree with me that even if there are two boys or two children, three children now in the house, every child will have access to its own device, whether it is a Android platform or it is iOS or it is a laptop or whatever way. So therefore, everybody is sitting apart in one corner of the house. And let me not hesitate to say that there are far too many distractions which are there today. While we are using internet, so many things also crop up side by side. So therefore, in the structured classroom teaching of 1 hour, which was the takeaway, now will be more. Maybe students will pick up only the main points, thumbnails, and will manage with that. They will possibly, the dream of many students immediately to go abroad also will suffer, maybe for 1 year or 2 years, because I think India has still done very well in coping with the COVID-19 threat. But the most advanced countries, especially America and the Europe, have suffered far more. So I don't think that anybody will think of even to go. Even people will not travel, to my mind, far distances to gain education, at least for this academic year and next academic year. And academic year means if you have taken admission in the university, you are stuck up there for 3 years or 4 years as per the course requirement. So these are the challenging which are will be in front of the students. That kind of aura which a student gets, where the holistic growth take place of the child when he interacts and she interacts with the peer group, that is going to be missing. And with this, the parents' responsibility also going to be affected. Monotony is going to set in. Monotony also is one thing which is there, because now each student is getting minimum 5 to 6 e-lectures, some webinars, some Zoom lessons. Thereafter, some kind of testing is going, some assignments are going on, and we have become very hyper. I think we need to look at it little differently, and very experienced people in this field will come out with little more on this. So this is my take on the challenges for the students and the teachers, sir.
And so you are from the army background. So how is the army coping with the and the career opportunities?
Yes, that's a very dear question to my mind. I spent almost 40 years in the army, and followed by that headed their organization which was dealing again with the professional higher education as well as K to 12. So presently the NDA exam and the CTS exams stand postponed because everything is linked with the class 12 passing and all that. But let me tell that there are 10 entries which are there in the army, right from NDA, which is from passing out the class 12, to the short service commission technical, which is there, which is in OTA. We have three training schools, which is one is at NDA Khadakwasla, which is a entry after class 12. Then we have Indian Military Academy at Dehradun, where I was the head trainer. And we have at OTA Chennai and Gaya, we have technical entry scheme, we have scheme for the NCC special entry scheme, we have JAG, Judge Advocate General for the law graduate, both for men and women. We have university entry scheme for the final and pre-final students, which is now being thought of to do away with. And because army is also now thinking that every army officer has to be an engineer. You will be surprised that in Navy, every graduate is a marine engineer now. Earlier, it was BSc, but now it has become that requirement. So we are upgrading ourselves. We have, of course, entry into the Army Education Corps and other areas. So Army is doing very well. But let me share with you that while I was the head of the academic department in the Indian Military Academy in 2009 and 10, you will be surprised that our gentlemen cadets, which were almost 1800 to 2000 at one time, they all had thin client computers in their classrooms. All the subject material which is being taught in the academy was available to them online, and assignments were given to them, very realistic assignments, so which they could do, and next day in the demonstration or in the actual classroom situation, which was there. But the culture was more of a hybrid culture. But I have been told once I was interacting with my group who are currently serving in the army. They said, sir, our courses of instructions have been suspended, and we are also conducting army courses on the line because our all the presses and all that through the army intranet, which is nothing to do with internet because it's our own system which is there with us. It has been distributed to the people. Otherwise, army units are keeping themselves in their confines. The routine is very set, and their training is going on. People at the borders are still deployed. In J&K, there is no let out in the terrorism. It is happening, and army at many places has joined hands with the civil administration to give support. Like Narela Center is now in Delhi is being run by the army, and we have all over in northeastern states. the COVID cases are being dealt by the army hospitals. In Srinagar, we are doing that. So that is there. And so army will also suffer in a way because we are part of the subsystem of the society. We are not aloof from the society. And but I think we were little more structured, and our numbers were known to us compared to the civil stream, where the numbers are into thousands, and people are living all across. But I have also been told that in army areas, internet is a problem. Even army people have shared with me because of our typical functioning, we give more bandwidth to our internet than the internet because of the internal communication within the army. We want that to be strong. And incidentally, if this forum allows me to say that the army internet is the precursor to the internet that we today are having with us in the public domain. It was the American Army which started with the internet, and thereafter many other advanced countries did that. So, internet in the army has been there for quite some time. So, our training goes on to that forums. We have a proper system of proper presses. Each and everything is so far accountable. That is for the army, sir.
Thank you
And
so much,
Sunil.
sir. And so, what initiative Shobhit University has taken to address COVID-19 challenges?
Oh, that's a very, very interesting question and very dear to me because let me tell you, Shobhit University uh, was possibly in a one way was prepared after reading so many reports that were appearing left and right. You will be surprised that on 17th March itself, the instructions were given to the faculty by the vice chancellor, and I was also part of the meeting there. That as to how do we go about, and we have been engaging our students right from 17th till date on the online education. We were, I don't know, it was a providence or pre-planned, maybe. Our faculty have risen to the task. They have taken it in a stride, and some of them have personally shared with me that it is more taxing. Being in the university was a better option than sitting at home and doing so many assignments. Like I told you, the accountability and the quality part of it. Apart from the education, because Shobhit University was blessed because we had the knowledge network system there, national knowledge network system was there. We had our GeoNet also there. The university had also its own bandwidth also there. So our soft infrastructure in Shobhit University, Meerut, was fantastic. And there was never ever a day we were privy to all e-journals and e-magazines. Our library can today boast of all that which is now being told by the open source material, that you use this and all that, you name a thing and it was there. Any NPTEL and all that we had installed for the students much before, because these were the UGC and AICT requirements also. But much beyond that, we had prepared ourselves that way. Besides that, the university has ventured into a kind of philanthropy, or say one can say help to the civil society in Meerut and around Meerut by making in the biotechnology lab and biomedical lab we have prepared the sanitizers, which has been made in thousands of liters, and they have been supplied at no cost to the civil administration. You will be very happy to know that Shobhit University's other campus, which is at Gango district, Saranpur, they have dedicated their complete hospital, Ayurveda hospital, ASV hospital, to the population there. Likewise, our international hostel in Meerut, we had made 100 bedded provision for people for the quarantine, and as of yesterday, there were 80 people staying in the hospital. in the quarantine in the university, and till about 2 days back, even the sanitization part of the hostel was being done by our our employees, and my salute to them sitting here, that they have done exceptionally wonderful job. And Shobhit University is now ventured and done arrangement, and our ERP we have integrated ourselves with Zoom, and now we are reaching out. Surprisingly, the faculty is started making YouTubes of their lectures and are now reaching out to the students. And I own the ERP, that is called the commercial name is called Paul. View almost every lecture of every faculty every day. So it's quite taxing for me. But let me tell you, this 45 days of lockdown has made me biotechnologist. I am a biomedical. I can now talk of bioinformatics. My friend Gaurav has trained me in dairy technology, and I am now expert in understanding the law, Muslim law, Hindu law, what is law of contract, and what is business communication and things like that. The management has taught me business communication. I can now talk about artificial intelligence and the compilers and the other kind of things. So it's so good, when I thumb through the lectures, and I find that the learning can really take place if it is possibly added with more. But most heartening to me is on our ERP a feature, a notice board, in which the students have started responding. The students have started responding to the lectures, and this is something which is very very interesting. Other thing which Shobhit University did was launch of a psychological support system for anybody. We have in our faculty Dr. Poonam Devdutt, who is now in charge of that, who is a renowned counselor in Meerut. She has been made in charge. We have our yoga center, which is very active, which we would like now again to make it more proactive, like our psychological center is, that people can ask yoga tips as to how can yoga and meditation, which is part of our curriculum in the yoga, in the school of yoga center for yoga, can possibly also help us. And we are reaching out. One of faculty members is every day giving us the crux of the news, and our PR is being very appreciated in the Meerut surrounding, because recently, surprisingly, one of our students did some contraption where he made a washing solution of a wash basin, as to how, with the help of sensors, the sanitize hand sanitization can be done. And Meerut University, Shobhit University is lucky. Our vice chancellor is a big time biotechnologist, a renowned chair in the international field. Our chancellor is very passionate about humanitarian effort, and we are doing very well, I can tell you. I mean, for a moment it seemed to me that nothing has changed, but I personally feel that the accountability of my faculty has gone high, and their work hours, because I find them crazy and they behave me crazy. From morning 6:30 or 6 o'clock, these lectures start coming to me as late at 10:30, 11. At 11, I generally boot off my computer, but I wonder, people are even sending in the midnight. So it's a kind of, junoon. Such a big passion which they are demonstrating. So this is Shobhit University has done really very well in combating the COVID threat. Yes.
Thank you so much, sir. It was a wonderful session. And before taking your closing notes, I am showing some greetings and comments from our viewers. And this Rakesh Jan is saying good morning to all of you. Again, Raman is saying good morning. Rupesh is saying nice to hear such a wonderful speech. Great. And Maya the Joshi is saying very informative views on Honorable Pro VC sir, very optimistic view. Vijay Kumar Singh is saying very valid suggestion. Dr. Saurabh Tyagi, such a wonderful and informative views. Uh, then again, there's some greeting from Vikas Pandey, right, sir, and there one Prashant Sagwan is saying respected, sir. You give space to the challenges and opportunities of the present scenario in your talk. Well expected, respected, sir. So there were some comments and greetings which are continuously our viewers are throwing on this wall. And before closing the session, a quick closing note and your message to students during this COVID-19.
Okay, my message is very plain, simple. Remain at home, be safe, and be optimistic. Things will get settled. The world has seen very many situations like this, and there was a plague in 1918, which was there, big plague, and that also terminated with World War One. World War One got over, and the plague started. Spanish flu was another thing, and we need to move forward, and we need not be cowed down. We got to be, when the going becomes tough, the tough get going, they say. So we need to be very optimistic, and the students should assure their parents that everything will be all right, because they are youngsters, and they should tell them and instill that feeling in the minds of their parents that our university will definitely take care of our academics and our physical well-being. And that's all. And I will say them that whatever e-material, e-lectures are being posted to them, they must respond, they must take it very seriously, and they should utilize this time very effectively. Thank
Thank you
you.
so much, sir. It was a very wonderful session, and we hope we will meet again very soon and we will discuss more. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
this
Jai
session.
Hind. Thanks a lot.
Jai
Jai
Hind,
Hind.
sir. Jai Hind.
Jai Hind.